I've been getting a lot of comments that ask me how to speak English like a native. First, I don't think I actually speak English like a native. So when I was studying in Turkey and then when I was working in the UK, everyone was asking me, "Are you American?" I am definitely not American. I just grew up watching a lot of TV series that were based in the US, a lot of movies, and I think a lot of people are. So that's where my accent comes from. I don't think it's really specific to where I actually come from. And there is already a hint explaining the whole thing in what I've just said. Yes, watching stuff gets your accent. That's the first thing. When I was, I think, in my last year of primary school, my brother would make me sit down with him and watch stuff in English all the time. Like that was like our thing together. He would put a series that he actually liked to watch, and I would just sit with him. At first, it was very hard because I was not understanding anything in English. And then he was like, "Oh, do you want me to put some subtitles to help?" And I was like, "Yes, please." And then I started just reading the subtitles. So he got really annoyed and he removed the subtitles. So I had to watch with him everything in English and basically just try to understand. And I was so young and there was so many cool people on there and it just sounded so awesome, so fascinating. And at the same time, I really liked my English teacher, so I kind of wanted to impress him. So I just gone into full on English learning and just watching as much stuff as humanly possible. And I think that's mainly how I got it. After a while, my brother started to notice that I have a good enough vocabulary that I was like okay in terms of speaking, but my vocabulary was very limited because people in TV shows, I mean, they're not going to talk about financial complexities, economical complexities, politics, all of that sort of thing. It was very basic and conversational, but I had to get to the next level. And here's what I did. I started reading tons and tons of books. And I loved it. I started reading the genre I actually like, and then for every two books that I actually enjoy reading, I would put a topic that I'm not really that interested into reading, but I just wanted to get better at knowing the vocab of that certain topic. And here's the thing. After a while, I noticed that I started pronouncing all the words that I didn't know, and I started learning through books, pronouncing them just wrong basically because I was just reading them and I was not pronouncing them. And at school, and my brother was also noticing that I started using words that were nice, a bit more advanced to my basic conversational level, but they weren't just like pronounced in the right way. So what we started doing is basically watching a bit of TED Talks, but I don't know if that at that time there was actually TED Talks, but it was like basically people on a stage talking about a certain topic that were fun enough to watch, but not boring that they would put me to sleep basically. So for me, that was the main thing. At that time, I had no one to practice with except for just basically class at school and, school grade English. Like, it's not very advanced, and some teachers were not that great either. And, practicing with them was not the best thing that you could actually get. But I was like, what's the next best thing I could do? I opted for something a bit out of the norm. I started chatting to online friends, and at the time I remember I made an online boyfriend and just started practicing with him. He was from Colombia, but his English was really, really good, and this made me improve my actual like pronunciation of English massively. So I don't know if my tip is to get a boyfriend that speaks really good English while you're not. I think that helps definitely a lot. And yeah, watch stuff, push yourself out of your comfort zone, read books, watch TED Talks in subjects you're not proficient at. I think that helps a lot. And yeah, don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's part of being a bilingual or more than a bilingual, basically. I speak currently 7 languages, and I don't care. If I make mistakes in English, in French, in Turkish, in my mother tongue as well, Arabic and French, I don't care because I already speak a lot of languages and I'm making the effort to constantly improve my languages. So if you're already making the effort to learn another language, It's okay to make mistakes. That's part of learning. And even at 10 years later, if you still make mistakes, that's still cool because you learned another language.